Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. We are diving into how to really succeed as a technical writer, especially, when you're on like a collaborative team. So this deep dive actually came from a suggestion. Senior technical writer Curt Robbins actually suggested we take a look at this. We're going to be focusing on an article called How to Succeed as a Technical Writer in a Collaborative Environment, written by Aiver Ilaya and published February 10th, 2025 on Aliso Digital. So if you are, a technical writer or a documentation specialist, or even, just an IT pro looking to like kind of up your game, this one's for you.
Yeah, it's interesting how this article, like right out of the gate, kind of challenges an assumption that we all have, which is like technical writing is just writing.
Oh, totally. It's like taking all that complex stuff and making it like crystal clear so anyone can understand it and use it. I feel like you'd need a lot of empathy to really nail that.
For sure, like you're bridging the gap between those experts and the everyday user. And the article dives into some like practical examples too. Like say you're documenting a new software implementation for a company that's, going from like paper-based processes. Suddenly, understanding how that impacts, different departments like sales, accounting, even customer service. That becomes like super important to crafting documentation that actually works.
So you need to know like way more than just the software. You need to know how it fits into like the big picture of how their business runs.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of collaboration, is really critical.
Oh yeah, the article's like all about that. Like technical writers almost never work alone.
It's so true. Like, think about it. You're always talking with, subject matter experts, developers, project managers, even end users sometimes. Building those strong relationships with, like, everyone involved, that's key because you all need to be on the same page, to make documentation that really works for everybody. Yeah, be proactive. Think about the user experience, like the whole thing.
Speaking of user experience, I was really interested in how the article talked about research. It's not just writing clearly, it's staying up to date on all the new trends and making sure your documentation stays relevant.
Oh, it's a constantly changing field. New technologies are always popping up. Best practices get refined all the time. Think of all the stuff out there, blogs, online, forums, conferences, even just connecting with other writers. All of that can be so valuable to stay ahead of the game.
Reminds me of that time I was researching API documentation best practices. And I found this awesome blog post by a developer who knew all about user-friendly interfaces, and it totally changed how I did my API documentation.
That's perfect. Just shows how being curious and looking for information can really make your work better.
So it's more than just writing. You got to be a lifelong learner.
Exactly. The article really stresses that point. The best technical writers are the ones who are always learning and always looking for ways to improve their skills.
All this learning stuff, it kind of goes back to something the article talked about, like how important it is to, actually look for feedback and be open to it.
That is so important.
Like when we were documenting that cloud platform, what if we hadn't listened to the engineers? Our documentation might have been technically right, but still confusing.
Oh, for sure.
And feedback isn't just about fixing errors or clarifying things. It's about the writing style, too. Making sure your tone is right for whoever's reading it. Making sure it actually does what it needs to do for them.
The article talks about like really building a feedback culture. Imagine, a system where writers can easily share their work and get feedback, or like workshops where we talk about best practices and, give each other constructive criticism.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Not only would it help individual writers, but it would like raise the bar for everyone.
Totally. And it goes back to that idea that, good technical writing, it's rarely a one-person show.
Right. It's a team effort.
You're using the knowledge and experience of like the whole team.
It's interesting how the article kind of like changes how we think about documentation. Instead of it being like a chore, it really focuses on how valuable it can be.
Yeah, that's a good point. Think about it. Good documentation can make things so much easier, like onboarding new employees or reducing those support tickets. It can even help customers solve problems on their own.
It can save companies time and money, and it can make employees feel more confident.
Exactly. And that's where all those, soft skills are so important. Being able to collaborate well, communicate, clearly understand your audience. That's what separates the good technical writers from the great ones.
The article talks about understanding the why behind the what, not just like documenting the steps of a process, but explaining why those steps exist and how they help the organization reach its goals.
That takes it to another level. You're not just giving instructions, you're helping people understand. You're even like helping with decision making.
It's almost like you're a consultant or advisor, helping people use something to its full potential.
And that's where the article's advice on growth really hit home. Remember the three key points.
Build relationships, stay curious, and always put your audience first.
Exactly. They're so simple, but so powerful.
Especially when you think about how collaborative technical writing is. So starting with building relationships, It's more than just getting along with people. It's about actively looking for chances to work together, share what you know, and learn from others.
Like imagine you're documenting some really complex process instead of doing it all yourself. What if you talked to an expert in that
Or
area?
brainstormed ideas with your team.
Getting different perspectives can lead to a much better final product.
And that's where staying curious comes in. Technology's always changing. So you got to be looking for new information, trying new tools, questioning what you think you know.
It's being okay with not knowing everything and being excited to learn more.
And all of that leads to putting your audience first. It's easy to get lost in the technical stuff. But in the end, your goal is to make documentation that's clear, concise, and easy to use.
My article says, think from the perspective of your audience. Ask yourself, is this easy to follow? Does this answer the questions people are likely to have?
Such a simple idea, but so important.
If you can really put yourself in the reader's shoes, you're way more likely to create something that actually works. But here's one last question for you to think about. How can you, as a technical writer, use collaboration to not only improve your own writing, but to make all the documentation in your organization better?
It's a great question. Maybe it's starting a peer review process or a mentorship program, or just being more intentional about asking for feedback and sharing what you know.
There are so many possibilities, but the key is to be proactive and see collaboration as a key to success in this field.
Maybe working together will give us an idea for a whole new deep dive. Thanks for joining us today on The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time for another exciting topic.